Welcome back to Love Daniela, episode 4. Today we're going to be touching on heartbreak, how to move on, and something is going on with the universe right now because everyone in my life wants to go back to their ex. So this is for all the girls that are wondering if they should. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. So we're just going to touch on that today. I haven't dealt with full-blown heartbreak it's been a few years. I'm in a long-term relationship, but heartbreak is such a intense feeling that you'll never forget. So I thought I could give my girlies some advice on how to get over heartbreak and kind of what you deserve. But before we dive into that, let's touch on our highs and lows. So my high for this week is I made a new friend. I feel like making new friends in your 20s is so hard. And so when you actually meet someone and you guys click, it's literally magical. It's magical in my opinion. And I went and met up with this girl for coffee. We just sat there and talked and I love her. Like, I think she is so cool. She lives pretty close to me, so now I have someone that I can go on little cute hot girl walks with, someone to get coffee with. I'm just very excited. So that was very exciting this week, and I just feel like we're at like similar stages of life. She is married and I just feel like she's like at a very like chill part of her life where some of my friends are still in like the party phase, which is completely fine, but weekends look a little different to me than someone that still likes to go to the bars until 2-3 in the morning, because I would like to wake up Saturday morning early and go for a hot girl walk and get a matcha and go to a workout class with friends. That's my ideal Saturday, and be in bed by 10. So it's like that, it just differs. So finding friends that are kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to that is really exciting. And yeah, so I'm very excited about that. It just like anytime I make a new friend, it just makes me want to make more and more. So more to come. I feel like I'm in my putting myself out there. You can't make friends unless you're putting yourself out there. And I feel like I have been doing that a lot lately. So very excited about that. My low is long distance. Sometimes is so easy. I'm like, guys, if you think long distance is hard, you're like you it's not the right person. It's been so hard lately, not in the fact of like anything weird. It's just sometimes just missing your partner and just feeling like lonely, especially because like a lot of my friends are in relationships and they live with their partner. And so I'm like, ugh, like y'all get to have your partners anywhere you go. And I'm kind of like tagging along. And I have a partner that I'm obsessed with that I would want with me at all times. And so that's been like hard lately, weirdly enough, because I feel like I've lived here for like a year and a half and I've been honestly like, we see each other pretty often where I'm like, we've got this, but lately his schedule's been super hectic. So it's just been a little bit less intentional with how much time we're spending together. But he comes here for like a few weeks and then I'm going to LA for probably a week and a half. So like we're fine. But long distance sometimes is hard and sometimes it like can feel lonely when like you're having down days and all you want is to like lay in bed with your partner. Me start crying. Luckily he just came in town for like 4 days, so I feel like I got my fix. Like I'm like, okay, I'm good. But before he came in town I was like, what's going on? I need you here now. So but I know that we'll get a lot of one-on-one time in the next few weeks, so like I'm just being dramatic. But anyways, those are my highs and lows. Let me know what your highs and lows are in the comments because I like seeing what you guys are up to. So let's dive in to the subject. We're talking about heartbreak. Heartbreak is something that I think all of us are familiar with, and if you're not, it's not a fun feeling, but it almost, when I think back, and obviously I'm not going through heartbreak right now, so it's easier said than done, but when I think back, it's kind of beautiful that like what heartbreak is, that you loved someone so much that like your heart breaks when you're no longer together. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we have the capacity to love someone, another like individual outside of yourself, that much. Like, I don't know, it's like a beautiful thing. I feel like if anyone's going through heartbreak, they're probably like, literally shut up. But when you look back on it, it kind of is a beautiful thing. It's like a chapter that's closed. Not all relationships end poorly, and sometimes it's just not the right person. And heartbreak is hard, and it's hard to move on, and it's hard to like change your life outside of that person because you're so used to like seeing them and talking to them all the time. But it is like such a beautiful thing to look back on like all of my past relationships and to just know that I had so much love and respect for all these people. I am not a person that keeps in contact with my exes. I know some people still talk to their exes even in relationships. In my opinion, that's disrespectful, but I wish all my exes all the best. I hope they all live flourishing lives, just like I am living a flourishing life. So this is about the girlies that are kind of back and forth on should you get back together with them? Was it right person, wrong time, all of that. I don't believe that we ever meet the right person at the wrong time. I think people come into your life at exactly the right time that they're supposed to teach you a lesson, to be there to support you in that specific time, but that doesn't mean that that was supposed to be forever. And I think a lot of people romanticize, well, we just need to work on ourselves and then we can come back to each other. And sometimes that is what some people need to do. They need to grow on their own, especially, you know, maybe high school sweethearts. It's like we haven't experienced life outside of each other. But I think for the most part, people come into your life at exactly the correct point. And there's no romanticizing, was I supposed to meet him later in life? You met them when you were supposed to. And they taught you many lessons. You probably experienced love for the first time, for the second time, for the third time. And they were there to help guide you in that time, and that's it. And you're allowed to close the chapter, and when it ends, move on and not always just be thinking about the past, like what if it was supposed to work with that person, because it didn't for a reason. And a lot of the time, people that go back to their exes are reliving the same issues and going through the same things that they went through in the relationship that they had with this person already, and you're wasting more time. Like, I have done this. I have gone back to exes. I feel like we've all had moments where we've gone back, and every single time it's the same thing, just a little different. You think, oh my gosh, they completely 180'd in a year and they're going to be a completely different person. And at the end of the day, someone is who they are to their core. And there's so much history and hurt if you guys didn't end well, or if you guys broke up, it probably ended because there was some sort of hurt. And going back to that is pretty much just going back and like rereading a book and not going to the next book. And I think we all get stuck in those cycles, and a lot of people get stuck in relationships like that because they're so comfortable with that norm where you're repeating that same cycle and that's just what your reality is. So it's like, okay, I'm comfortable with this, instead of actually living a life that's like beautiful and gorgeous and like it gushes love and happiness. I think about this all the time because I had a boyfriend before, obviously my current boyfriend, and I think about this all the time that like if I repeated that cycle again, I would probably have lost the person that I'm with now. And I think I have such a amazing, healthy relationship that I so wasn't used to. And a lot of people backtrack and end up not being able to find the light at the end of the tunnel because they're so focused on history and repeating history instead of moving forward. I promise you, you will not want the person that you had to beg to treat you right, to love you, to like be good to you. You don't deserve someone that you have to teach that and beg that. There is someone out there that is willing to give you that and so much more. And you're so focused on this project, and I'm a project girl. I loved a project, a man that I found and I could fix him. Oh, like nothing made me happier. And I think a lot of the time, people that do that don't want to focus on their own internal growth and don't want to focus on what they need to work on. And so it's like, oh, it's so easy to find a guy that you can completely work on them as a person instead of focusing on your own stuff. So don't worry about the fixer-uppers. You deserve a man or woman that comes into your life and is a completely whole person that adds to your life, that you don't have to teach all these things. I'm not saying it's perfect right off the bat. There's definitely things that you have to learn from each other, how someone else wants to be loved, but that is a simple thing to someone that is already a whole person that just wants to be a better partner to you than completely trying to fix a fuckboy. You can't fix a fuckboy. And I also have had many friends in my life, me included, where it's like, did I really spend all this time fixing this man, showing this man how to be a good boyfriend just to break up with him, and now he's going to be a great boyfriend to someone else? News flash, he's the same person, and he may have better attributes because of you, but you also learned what you like and you don't like in a relationship. So as much as sometimes it hurts and it pains you to be like, what did I put all this work into for it not to be me? You should just be thankful for the time that you guys had together and move on. He may be a better man because of you, but that doesn't mean that you have to stay with him. I promise it doesn't mean you have to stay with him. It's just like, you're welcome and ta-ta. I think a lot of people get back together with their exes because we are constantly making excuses for people instead of viewing their actions as exactly as they are. Their actions are your answers. They aren't any hidden things or, oh, well, he didn't mean it that way. Take their actions exactly as they are. There's no hidden meaning to it. And I think a lot of people make those excuses and are constantly like, well, I see the good in them, so they can't be that bad. And just because you see the good in someone doesn't mean that they deserve access to you. You are a beautiful, amazing person, and you deserve someone that's as amazing as you. And if you feel like you're settling because you're comfortable or because you see the good in someone, doesn't mean that you have to settle for less. You can see the good in someone and be like, I think they're a great person and they have a great heart, but it just doesn't deliver well and they don't love me in the way that I should be loved. And that's okay to move on. Move on and know that it's beautiful that you see beauty in people that maybe don't deserve for you to see beauty in them. It honestly makes me emotional thinking about this because I settled for so much less than what I deserved in every relationship I was in because it was comfortable or because it was what I was used to. Issues with my family and thinking that that's all I deserve, and I kind of had the mindset of like, this is as best as it gets. It's not, at least it's not as bad as I've seen growing up. That was what I was always comparing it to, is, oh well, you know, the marriage I saw growing up was not good and this is better than that, so this is life. And it's not life. There are people out there that are going to treat you well, that are going to work with you, that want to build you up instead of tear you down, that want to do anything and everything in their power to make you happy every day. There are people out there that that's what they think about. And it literally makes me so emotional because I'm in such a healthy relationship with my partner, and it was so hard for me to accept because I was so used to not even the bare minimum. And so when he was doing this, I'm like, he must be gaslighting me. There's a catch to this. This is not how life is. There's a lot more fights and crying and all of that. And so when I experienced this, I fought it hard because I was like, this isn't normal. So it was very uncomfortable for me. And then I realized, wait, I deserve this. I am this type of partner to other people. And I'm not saying my relationship is perfect. We constantly are having to work on things, but having a partner that actually wants to work with you on those things, that wants to make you happy and wants to hear you out when you do have an issue, and they'll fix it right away. And it's not just something that they say they'll fix, they'll actually put action behind it, is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So As we know, Mercury retrograde is going on. I don't know when it ends, but I do know it's gotten a lot of my friends and family, and it's crazy. It will make you want to go back to an ex. It'll make you want to go back to an ex-best friend. It'll literally stir up a lot of emotions. So if you've been having those thoughts creeping in, wait till Mercury retrograde is over before making any decisions, because I feel like a lot of people are just like snapping and like texting their ex, or like breaking up with someone, or just making rash decisions because it literally feels like it's brewing inside of you. And just wait it out. Don't text your ex. Don't text your ex. If you want to text your ex in, I think it's over in like 2 weeks. If you want to text your ex in 2 weeks, by all means. But during Mercury retrograde, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's just take some time and really think about it. Really think about it deeply. Do you want to invite this person back into your life? Just wait on it. Hold that thought. Write it down in a journal, and then come back to that thought. My main thing when it comes to relationships that I try to tell people, I know sometimes this doesn't work if you don't want kids, or if you're older and like my mom, like she's dating, I can't really tell her this, but it's what story do you want to tell your kids? When it comes to the fuckboy that you're dating and you think this is it, this is the person I'm going to marry and have kids with, what's that story going to be like to your kids? Like, if you guys had kids together, would that story be like, I had to beg and plead your dad to love me, and he finally got his act together, and this? I don't want to teach my kids that. I want to teach my kids that, like, from the moment your dad met me, he chose me in every single way. He wanted me, he adored me, he treated me exactly how I was supposed to be treated. I want to teach my kids that. I want to teach my kids that a man like that exists, and you don't have to sit there and plead for a man to love you the way you should be loved. And that's what I try to tell my friends around me, is there's someone out there that will treat you like that right off the bat, and you don't have to settle for less. Because what kind of story is that telling your kids? It's showing that your kids that you can change a fuckboy, which is like a very rare. You probably have a 1% chance, probably less than that, honestly. I think it's just going through a self-love journey, like finding what you love about yourself. And I know if you're in a bad relationship, it really is hard to find things that you love about yourself. It causes a lot of insecurity being in a relationship like that. I have been in many bad relationships, and my self-confidence was at a zero, whether it was from cheating, whether it was from emotionally cheating. I have been in lots of those relationships where I have been fully emotionally cheated on, which is almost worse. Like, honestly, almost worse, because then you kind of like are confused. And if it's physical cheating, I would just be like, perfect, I hate your guts now. But it is hard, and it really does chip at your self-confidence. And so you really have to try your hardest to build up that confidence in yourself outside of your partner if you are in a relationship like that, because I think once you love yourself to a certain standard, you realize that you shouldn't settle for less than what you deserve. You realize what a catch you are. You realize how amazing of a partner you are and how amazing of a person you are. When you find that confidence in who you are, then that person almost becomes repulsive to you. They do. Because it's like, how are you treating this me like crap? How is that happening? Because I settled for you and you treat me like garbage, but I treat you amazing. So it kind of just gives you the ick, because you realize what you have to offer and what you're putting on the table. So yeah, that is today's episode. Just a reminder, don't text your ex. Find someone that will love you right off the bat. Those are my main takeaways this episode. I also wanted your guys' 2 cents on the structure of the episodes. Do you guys like highs and lows at the beginning? Would you rather them at the end? Let me know. My mom was saying that she just wishes that it was a subject and there was no highs and lows. So let me know if you even like that, if you want to hear about my week, if you want a little look into my life, or if you would rather these more just advice based, and if something like really important happens, then I can like update you guys. So let me know if you're liking this structure or if you want things to change. And eventually I will have advice for you guys once you guys start sending in stories and stuff. But I know like it's a slow burn at first, so eventually we'll have advice. But right now it's just topics. So let me know that. Also let me know if there's specific things that you guys want me to talk about. And everything is linked down below. My socials, my Instagram, TikTok, everything is linked down below. So go follow, go interact, DM me. I reply to everyone. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I will see you next week.